Tom Rigotti, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks, futures, and mixed before today's trading. In the baseball playoffs, the New York Yankees and the New York Mets both won. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Serving Lawrence County on AM 1370, 105.3 Lawrenceburg, and Loretto on 95.3. This is The Legend, WDXE.
That's us, WDXE, and it's time for the Rent Right in First Class Charter Hour. Bill Adams is in the house.
Good morning, Mr. Jeff.
How are you, buddy?
Doing great. How about you this morning?
Been looking forward to seeing you this morning, and your guest today?
Yes, sir. Mr. Willie Joyner, Lawrence County High School.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Glad to be here, guys.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for inviting me.
Of course, the hour is brought to you by Rent Right in First Class Charter. Mr. Joyner, glad to have you here.
Glad to be here. Thank y'all again for
good deal. We're going to get into what's going on with you and your world and Lawrence County High School and all that. But first, let's take a minute just to recognize our good friends at First Class Charter. And you got a lot going on there, for one thing. Bus is leaving out today, as a matter of fact.
We do, yeah. It's our privilege always. I get excited when we're doing transportation. First Class Charter doing transportation for Lawrence County schools. And, it's a thrill of mine for kids to get to see the world and travel, get outside of our walls of Lawrence County and see. And we were just talking about it. I think we're visiting some schools today. Mr. Willie,
yes,
going to Tennessee Tech, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We had kids waiting early this morning. Y'all were coming by. I think all three high schools were coordinating that through our Ayers Foundation, but they were visiting Tennessee Tech today.
Yeah, it's great. We've got buses just got back from Waco, Texas, and different places. And so a lot of military travel, a lot of university college travel right now, so it's our privilege to serve.
Yeah,
yes,
and I've mentioned a little bit this morning about our Lights of Love tour that's coming up.
That's coming up. We're
December
going to be
the 10th.
December 10th, and we're going to be putting that together. I understand we're going to Bridge Street.
Yes.
In Huntsville, Alabama.
And I get to help host it.
Going to host it. That's right.
I'm looking forward to that.
Lights of Love, and we'll have more information about sign-ups for that.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a flyer being made currently.
That's right.
Miss May Hood's making that flyer for us.
I saw that. She did a good job with that.
Yeah. So
we're working on that.
We'll kick that out this week, okay?
Good deal. Good deal. And always a lot of stuff happening with Rent Right. Good equipment there for you. And I was in the shop yesterday.
Great, yeah.
Looking around. You got it looking good over there, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah. Cynthia and the girls do a great job keeping it clean. And we do have a lot of equipment going out. I noticed straw blowers and trenchers going out yesterday. So there's a lot of outdoor projects that are the weather's cooling off some. And it's a little bit better to get out and work right now.
Yeah. Well, Bill's guest today is Mr. Willie Joyner. He, of course, is the principal of Lawrence County High School. But you've been a lot of things before you were the principal of Lawrence County High School.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're trying to say I'm old, I think.
Well, listen, you fit in our category here. I'll just put it that way. But I wanted to kind of get your actual personal history a little bit for people that don't know you. I mentioned earlier I've known of you. Known about you because you've been somewhat in the public eye with coaching and involved with the school systems. But a little bit of your family history would be nice. I'd like to know a little bit more about who you are, where you come from.
Okay. Well, I was raised in Bonnertown, Tennessee, south end of the county. My parents, David and Marion Joyner, and educated in Lawrence County schools. And all my life, and that gave me a great foundation. My family had a history in education. I had uncles and aunts that were in education. My mom was a teacher, and so.
Now wait just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I had not put this together.
Okay.
Your mom was Miss Joyner.
That's right.
That's right.
At Lawrence County High School.
Marion Joyner.
Absolutely. Yes.
She loved me.
Jeff, I could jump all over that.
Listen, and I didn't deserve it. Okay, and I didn't deserve it, but she petted on me and loved me and helped me through school.
Well, I've heard that story from a lot of folks.
She's an awesome lady.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate that. I know I'm partial, but I agree with you. And, I joke and laugh. She was an English teacher, and I said, if you had to grow up with an English teacher getting your grammar corrected all the time, and she still points it out when I make a mistake, and that still happens quite a bit too.
Right.
So,
well, I feel better about you now.
well, good deal, good deal. And you know, usually, I mean, she was a 30-year educator in the Lawrence County school system, all those years at Lawrence County High School, and so she was able to influence a lot of folks, and I hear stories like you just shared a lot, and that and I believe those and know that those are real because
absolutely.
I mean, I lived with her, and so but she truly was a great example for me and a great mentor to my brother and sister as well.
And you grew up in Bonnertown.
That's where I grew up. And,
you know anything? You know anybody by the name of Lonnie Box?
I do know Lonnie Box. Yeah, Lonnie and I went to elementary school together. I started at Bonnertown, and then after a couple of years, I don't know if it was because of me, but they closed the school, and so we moved on up the road to 5 Points, and that's where I went to elementary school before I came to Lawrence County High School.
All right. Did you play sports in elementary school?
I did. Basketball was really the only organized sport we had at that time, but that's what I played, and then I played later in high school as well. So, you know, it was I had a great childhood. I mean, I just really did. Great community there that I was fortunate to grow up in. Great schools, great teachers, and all the way through till I graduated from high school. And again, that's still going on in Lawrence County. And
a good mama.
Yeah.
Good mama and a good daddy.
Yeah,
a good daddy,
I had a good daddy as well. I sure
David
did.
Joyner's fabulous man.
That's right.
Really was. Yeah.
Well, good deal. So you've got a history with schools.
I do.
I mean, you know, just it was in your family, and
I mean, I have joked before that I started school in the fall of 1970, and I've been going back every year since. So, and that's true. And but yes, it's education. You know, we all experience it obviously when we're young, but then made a career out of it, and it's been a blessing to me, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
So you graduated Lawrence County High School. Where did you go to school from there?
I went to UNA. Started out thinking I would major in business and going to help my dad who ran his own business. But about halfway through, Kelly and I, my wife Kelly, we got married, and she was in education, and you know, we just kind of sought the Lord's will there that would be a good thing for us as far as raising a family, and just kind of made a switch there, and I've never regretted that. I think it's been a great decision for our family. And so she and I got married halfway through college, which I did not recommend for my children, but it was the way we did it, and it worked out fine. But she and I have been in education all of our lives, and she's currently retired and enjoying that because our 2 children have given us 5 grandchildren. Number 6 is due Christmas Eve.
Oh my gosh.
So by the end of the year, we hope to have 6 grandchildren, and so the Lord's really blessed us there, and that keeps her on the road a lot, and taking care of them and helping with them, and so but we have been blessed tremendously.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to ask you a question, Willie. Into your I know you coached, and one of the most exciting years, and you're going to correct me if you would, is coaching girls basketball. Mm-hmm. The run in the '90s that you had with those students, those girls. Can you replay that, and then the state championship run that was so impacted Lawrence County, right?
So how long is this show? I mean,
well, we can make it 2 weeks.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, well, first of all, I just want to say that that was a great time. It was a great experience for me and for my family, for those girls, for Lawrence County High School, for Lawrenceburg. For Lawrence County. I mean, it was just a great time. And, you know, when I look back on that, I think, first of all, about the folks who have always helped you. You know, your dad Coach Adams was one of those mentors for me. Coach Merriman, Coach Jim Freeman, Coach Jim Thompson, Coach Weathers, Mr. Dunn. I mean, there were just a lot of folks that that helped a young guy out and supported and just gave a lot of support all the way around, just all the things that go in to coaching and athletics, but also what I don't think a lot of people understand is that that was such a special group of girls that loved each other, unselfish, just wanted to work hard and wanted to win. And, when you have a group of people, whatever it is, if they're committed in their purpose to work towards something, good things are going to happen. And we were fortunate and blessed to be able to have that great run in '98 and create a lot of memories. And we got to get together a little while back to celebrate the 25th anniversary of that. And that was just a really, really great time. But I can't say enough about them and just what a joy they were. Made my job a lot easier because they were just a great group of girls who've grown into great wives and mothers and are still doing a great job, and their kids are coming through now. So that's good to see as well.
And one of the things that I've learned through the years from, Grandpa and Dad and other coaches, we mentioned Ralph Benson earlier today, what a mentor to me, even though I didn't play for him, but he would show up in the locker rooms and he did as much coaching after he retired as he did while he was on the court. And the legacy that's created and the accountability through the years and how that ties together. And you mentioned being great moms and dads. It doesn't change. And I think that's so important in our schools today is to have that connection from generations gone by.
Absolutely. And, the two or three of the guys that I mentioned, your dad and Coach Merriman specifically, I can remember coming to me during some tough times, and just the fact that I knew they were supportive of the way I was doing things, but also the fact that they'd been through it. And it wouldn't come in from advice from somebody who says, well, I think this is what. No, they knew that's what you should do. And that meant a lot more to me, just because I knew they'd been in the fire, and that spoke a lot more to me. And you want to be that for people as well. As we move to different stages in our life, I mean, we want to be to other people what folks were to us, because we see and look back at how much it helped us. And that's why it's difficult, even with students, athletes, whatever the case may be, that what may be right and needs to take place right now may not be pleasant, but it's necessary a lot of times to get you, because when you get you where you need to be, because when you look back, we really learned from the tough times.
That's
we
right.
really learned from the hard times. And my uncle used to say, you can do hard things. I mean, they're hard, but they're hard for a reason. And that pushing through that and persevering through things can help shape us and mold us for future challenges, because they're not going to stop.
That's right.
I mean, even at our age now, we still have those challenges. We think we're going to grow out of them, but a lot of times it never
actually
happens.
gets tougher. One of the things that I know for sure too that and that a great coach or teacher, not only does the coaching coach on the floor or on the field, but it's in the classroom and also in the halls. Or the cafeteria,
right,
so to speak. So it's a lifestyle of leading and coaching. Sure is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. I think when I was listening to you there, you became a coach, but there were some miles under your feet before you got to be coach at Lawrence County High School. And what I was thinking about is how do you become a coach? How does that develop? How does that work into being the kind of guy that can become an actual successful coach? Us dreamers, we think, well, it'd be fun to coach a ball team, but I wouldn't know how to start. So where do you learn to become a coach?
Well, I'm just going to be totally honest. I mean, I started out in the Lawrence County school system. Very first job I had was at the alternative school, which is currently our Achievement Academy. And I did that for a couple of years. Fresh out of college, first job, that was a challenge. But looking back, I don't have any doubt that the Lord used that to mold my whole career in education. Mm-hmm. I don't have any doubt that it did that. And so my third year, I moved to Lawrence County High School. Coach Weathers asked me if I wanted to help be an assistant on the girls' basketball team. Honestly, I'd never really, said, hey, I'm going to be a coach. And I said, yeah. And I mean, basically, I was a paid manager that year.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, things happened, and Coach Weathers stepped aside, and then Coach Freeman, and I helped him. And then when Coach Freeman stepped aside, Mr. Dunn really, to me, put a lot of faith in me by giving me that job. And again, I mean this honestly, I wasn't a great coach. I had a lot of great players, and I had players that were unselfish, as I mentioned earlier, and things I feel like the Lord puts us in specific situations and enables us to do the things that we need to do. And so I feel like that I was at the right place at the right time, and was just tremendously blessed with that, like I said, that good group of girls. Mm-hmm. You learn by talking to other coaches who've been through it, and I've mentioned some of those folks. But you try things, they don't work. You readjust, you pivot. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to relationships. I mean, relationships that you develop with your players, relationships that you develop with students, teachers. I mean, even in my current position as principal, to me, it still all boils down to the relationships that you have with the people you work with, and with the people that you work for, the students and the parents. And so to me, that's the key in whatever it is.
Sure.
And
Sure. Well, there's certainly a lot of challenges to being in the education business. Mm-hmm. We still have, I think, a small town atmosphere in our school systems. Bill, of course, you just became a part of the school board. Mm-hmm. And of course, Mrs. Joyner, I think about all the school, the teachers and coaches. We've been focused on coaching, but she's talking about how these coaches influence in kids and the influence on your life, mm-hmm. and on mine and others. And someone like Mrs. Joyner, who was an influence on me. Mm-hmm. It takes a special person, really, to become a teacher. My wife was a teacher. And to dedicate themselves to being that kind of good influence.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I think, obviously, there are a lot of challenges in education, as there are with any vocation, with anything in today's world. But at the end of the day, and you kind of touched on it, and I say this as often as I can when I'm in front of parents, but Lawrence County High School is a great place, and it's a great place because of the people that we have there, the teachers that we have, the students that we have, and we're always going to have challenges. But by and large, our students do a great job, mm-hmm. day in and day out, and that's because we have parents that are doing a good job, that are sending us kids that, again, for the most part, are still respectful kids who want to do the right thing and who try to do the right thing, and we're there to help them do that. And the ones that don't, we're trying to help them as well, and we're trying to maybe change the trajectory of where they're headed, and to try to do that sometimes in spite of a lot of other challenges. But again, at the end of the day, it comes down to the people, and our faculty and staff do a great job day in and day out of putting the needs of the whole child. Mm-hmm. At the forefront of what they do. They're going to hold them accountable, and they're going to have expectations of them But again, at the end of the day, it comes down to those relationships that we can develop as teacher, student, coach, player, principal to teacher, principal to student, those kind of things. And I have a great admin team at Lawrence County High School. There are 4 assistant principals there that do a great job day in and day out, supporting our teachers, supporting our students, and then again our faculty and staff. I just can't say enough about the good things that they do.
One of the things that I want to mention, this is not on our script, but I do want to mention. I was thinking about this as Mr. Joyner speaking, talking about faculty and staff and the kids. We live in a day where oftentimes all kids are given a blue ribbon. And one of the things that I think I want to ask this question, Mr. Joyner, is in a statement and a question, is it's okay to lose. It's okay. Yeah. And so from your words, I want to hear from a really good educator, how do you deal with defeat? How do you deal with loss, and how do you bounce back?
Well, I think, and I kind of touched on it earlier, that we really learn from the hard things that we've had to endure in life. And as a coach, I can look back even 25 plus years ago, and I remember the losses more so because I remember the things that I could have done that would have put us in a better position, and that I didn't do my job like I needed to. But again, you want to learn from that. I don't want to make that mistake again. Mm-hmm. And I tell kids a lot that, look, some of our students are in really, really difficult situations for whatever reason that may be. But I always try to tell them, look, you can be the one that changes the trajectory of your family. Yeah. You may have been at a disadvantage on a lot of things, mm-hmm. but you can be the one that, your grandkids may look at one day and say, well, that changed the trajectory of my family. Mm-hmm. I can look back to a great grandfather who was a bootlegger, but he came to know the Lord, and he changed. His life was changed, and therefore that changed the trajectory of my family.
Wow.
And I never met him, mm-hmm. But I know that decision that he made is affecting generations. And again, we learn from those tough times. We learn from the hard things, and bad things are going to happen to you. You can get bitter about it and go and get angry and go in the wrong direction, or you can try to learn from it, mm-hmm. and learn from that experience and try to keep it from happening again. But it may happen again.
Yeah, I believe that a fantastic teacher like your mom and yourself and others that we've talked about, the ones that you have now, can recognize that in students, that there's a struggle.
Right.
And, this is one thing I want to bring up, too, is about testing. Oftentimes, the situations are not seen from a test, mm-hmm. but they are seen mm-hmm. by the teachers in the classroom. The great teachers can pick up on the needs of those kids and maybe individualize needs where maybe somebody else couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, and again, it comes a lot by getting to know that student. Again, I know I keep going back to that, but that's just such an important part. If those kids know you care about them, they're going to talk to you more. They're going to open up a little bit more to where you can find some of the reasons why things are happening the way that they're happening. But it also enables that student to trust that teacher, when that teacher is saying, look, this is something that you've got to do mm-hmm. and something you need to do. If that relationship's been built, then they're more than likely, they're going to be more apt to perform mm-hmm. than if that relationship has not mm-hmm. been built. If it's just been like, hey, I'm throwing this out here. If y'all get it, you get it. If you don't, mm-hmm. That's we don't want
mm-hmm.
that. So
mm-hmm.
that's what I think about. It's such a calling to be a teacher, mm-hmm. To be a real teacher. because I don't think you can fake caring about a student. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think students pick up when a teacher actually really does care about them. And I think we have a lot of teachers in our community here who do truly care about their work, about the students, and take it home with them.
Right.
And it's an admirable calling and job. It certainly doesn't pay enough.
Yeah.
And so it's not like they're after the brass ring, but they're contributing, to our little ones.
Yeah.
Well, and you are exactly right, and I completely agree. I mean, to me, it is a calling. I mean, we have requirements of education and things to be, quote, certified as a teacher. But to me, what makes the great teachers are who they are.
Yeah.
And how they relate to people and how they relate to kids. And kids can smell that. I mean, they can tell if you really care about them or not.
They do.
They know if you really care about them or if you're just doing a job. They know that. And that's going to come out over time. And again, we want our teachers to get to know students, to be sensitive to the things that are going on. And I mentioned starting out my first job, I think that's the main thing I learned from that is that there's something else that's causing this kid to act out the way he is. It's not him. It's a situation at home or things that have happened to him that's causing him to, and that's one of the things that you learn early, that there's got to be a root source to this. And sometimes we can't find it. I mean, we try to, but sometimes you can't put your finger exactly on what is causing it. But again, you've got to have caring adults there that are going to do what's best for them. And sometimes what's best for them, they don't see that, just like we all did. But we got to try to do that.
How many teachers and how many students are you responsible for?
We have right at 1,100 students in grades 9 through 12 at Lawrence County High School. We have about 120 staff members that serve them every day and come to work every day, committed to doing what's best for them. But that's a lot of folks in one place at one time. But again, all those adults are looking out for them, and we have a lot of things in place to ensure safety, but also just to ensure that we're taking care of class time and protecting that to where teachers can do their job and do what's needed for students.
Retention, attraction and retention, what are you seeing as far as staff and teachers?
Well, that has become more of a challenge. It really has. We just don't have as many folks, young folks, going into education as we did years ago. And again, we can debate the reasons and things that have caused that, but it is a reality. Fortunately, we have been able to meet that need. We just don't have the applicants that we used to have, and I'm always afraid that at some point I'm not going to have any, and I haven't gotten to that point yet. I know some school systems have in different parts of the state and different parts of the country, but I can very well say that that the number of applicants that you have for any kind of position now are extremely limited. But Mr. Atkins and our central office, the school board, I mean, they've done a lot of things to try to incentivize that and try to make Lawrence County is an attractive school system. I mean, there are folks that still come to us from other school systems, and to me that speaks highly of our school system, and we've had that happen even this year. And so that's a positive that helps us. Again, and y'all have mentioned just the town of Lawrenceburg and the community, it's inviting to folks. And so I think that works into our favor. And but again, those are going to be challenges. And you mentioned that's more on recruitment and applicants. But as far as retention, I mean, just we've got to be conscious of just not overloading that plate. And there's a lot of pressure on teachers from testing. There's a lot of pressure on them to do things, a lot of the things that are required. And the school system provides a lot of services just outside of education because that's where everybody comes together. I mean, that's where the children are. That's where the students are. So just naturally, there are going to be a lot of services and a lot of things that are tugged on. They're good things, but you have to balance it with our core mission there.
Let me make a statement that you can get you to respond to it. A good racehorse is God designed them to run. And one of the statements I hear from our fantastic teachers is, all I want to do is teach. I don't want all the other, I want to teach. Can you speak to that?
Well, and that's kind of what I was touching on there, that we do put a lot of extra stuff a lot of times. And I get that. I mean, obviously, they would like to just be able to go in and have their students and be able to teach without the interruptions and without the extra requirements and things that are there. And we try our best to protect that and to do that to the best that we can. But at the same time, recognizing that students and the way students learn and the way they react has changed. I mean, it's not like it was when we were in school. It's not like it was 20 years ago. It's not like it was 10 years ago. So, I mean, we have to try to hold that standard, but at the same time, try to pivot to where we're dealing with kids that we can't. What gets their attention is not as easy as it used to be.
That's right. I got tickled. You were telling a story about Miss Joyner coming in as a visitor, and and all the schools now you're given a visitor badge. That's for identification. And it tickled me that Miss Joyner doesn't want to wear her visitor badge.
Well, safety obviously is of utmost importance, and I did tell Mother when she came to visit, I said, you have got to put this badge on, and I think she thought everybody there knew her, and a lot of people did, but I said, this is
well,
where
they should have.
This is where we are right now.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're blessed to have 2 SROs at Lawrence County High School now, and that has helped tremendously. We ask our teachers to be proactive and to monitor and look, and they are constantly reporting any kind of activity that they see, and we take a lot of steps to ensure the safety of our students and our staff every day. And I know that can be aggravating to the public sometimes when they come in, and we ask them to scan their license and be processed, but it's because we are taking all the precautions that we can. And I know we remind our folks constantly to be diligent about that. That's just the day and time that we live in. We ask our students to be diligent and help us watch. And and I've asked our faculty, I said, look, I'm going to ask that you just pray every day, that the Lord would protect us this day.
That's right.
And that we take all the steps that we know to take, but then we just ask for that protection as well.
I think everyone, Jeff, needs to understand that it's in the best interest of our community to follow these protocols that are set forth.
Yep.
Mr. Jordan, I was going to ask about the requirements for graduation. And I don't know, for some reason that just popped into my head because I remember graduating myself by the skin of my teeth.
Oh, praise the Lord.
And so what are today's requirements for a high school student to graduate?
Well, we have they have certain core courses that they're required to take each year all the way through their senior year. They are required to have a focus, and all these are designed to try to equip them for the next step in their education, whether that is continued education, whether it's the world of work or whatever it may be. All of our graduation requirements are designed to prepare them for that next step. I mentioned the Ayers Foundation earlier, and they are constantly before our kids, making them aware of their post-secondary opportunities and exposing them to jobs, to colleges, to TCAT, Centers for Applied Technology that are in our area. That, I mean, our students just have a tremendous opportunity to take advantage of not only what we offer in high school, but what we will offer at the next level. And again, we want to advise them as much as we can, but we want them and their parents to make that decision on their next step. And look, we have kids that come back and they've changed their mind and they've decided to go to school. And again, our Heirs Foundation and our guidance department, I mean, they work with them and help them to get that started back. Maybe they realize, hey, I'm changed my mind. I want to do something differently. But I know kids, like, you know, some of them, they don't like their math. Some of them, they don't like their English. I mean, all those required courses are there for a purpose, to prepare them that if they do change their mind, well, you've got this background and you've got this basis that you may not think you are going to need it, but you might need it one of these days.
Well, what we've learned, and we're firsthand in more of the CTE. Those are the type students or workers that we hire in the lines of work that we do, and but you can't ditch on English and math. You use that every day along with those CTE VOTEC type training. All right.
Yeah.
One of the things that we look for is people that can diagnose electrical diagnostics with engines, small engines, and large engines that are run by computers. And you've got to be able to read, and you've got to be able to do math. Okay, you got to understand science principles. So to think you can get away with not taking the reading, writing, arithmetic out, you're fooling yourself. It's a well-rounded individual that can make a lot of money in this workplace.
Absolutely, and you know, I think in education, several years ago, you know, we were really pushing the 4-year degree after college, and the last few years there's been re-emphasis on CTE classes and preparing students for great opportunities that they'll have in construction or electrical or HVAC, whatever the case may be, business, all the areas that we try to address in CTE that will give students the core instruction that they will need to be able to go. You know, they may go straight to work, and if they get with someone who will teach them, I mean, you never stop learning. I mean, you really don't. And so, but that has been a good thing that I think we've taken I hope we have taken some of the stigma off of whatever you decide to do, whatever vocation you choose to pursue, that we want to do what we can to prepare you for that. And again, realizing that they're young, their minds could change, so they need a good balanced education over a lot of different areas to keep all those options open.
Bill, I'll ask this, switching gears just a little bit. The facility itself, Lawrence County High School facility and the campus, we for many years have called it the new high school, but it's not new. It's not new anymore. It was new when I was there, somewhat. So can you give me kind of or give us kind of an overview of the overall condition of the facility and needs or anything like that? What do you see that's going to be necessary in the coming years?
Well, I tell you, the new high school. I mean, I can see where, I don't think I realized when I was going to school there just how new it was. I had stepped into it, but it was only about 6 or 7 years old when I started to school there.
Yes.
But I'm just going to say, and this is a credit to the board and to past administrators at Lawrence County High School maintenance, that to me, for our building to be 50-plus years old, I mean, to me, it's in great condition.
It looks so. Yeah.
It's had a lot of upgrades, a lot of that due to safety. Some of the upgrades that have taken place there, but it is an aging building, and there are things that are going to continue to need to be replaced and repaired. and it's a huge building, huge campus, several buildings, that make up our campus. And so that's a lot to maintain and a lot to keep up with. But again, I think it has been well maintained, and I think if we continue to do that, it'll be able to serve students for a long time. And we have a lot of help with our facilities from the school board, but also from the city of Lawrenceburg. I mean, the city of Lawrenceburg's been a tremendous partner with us. We're located right there next to the Bobby Brewer Park. City just completed. In fact, I think they're doing a ribbon cutting this morning on the repairs that they've done to the tennis courts just south of the main building, right behind the central office. They've also added some pickleball courts there for the public.
They look great, by the way.
Yeah.
Y'all play pickleball? Either one of y'all play
I can't even spell it.
So,
You a pickleball player?
well, it's a smaller court, so I like the looks of that. But
Yeah.
no, I've never.
My
I've never
sisters are
played.
playing.
So,
I think I would like it.
Pickleball?
Yeah, I think I would like
Yeah.
it. I used to play tennis. But
Is it a big racket or a small? Do you use a racket?
I think it's a smaller
it's
racket.
kind of like an oversized ping pong paddle.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How long are the games? To 15 or 10 or what?
That I don't know.
There's no clock, I don't think.
No clock.
I don't think there's a clock. So,
Okay.
But they have just recently completed that. Just broke ground on a new baseball facility that the city has helped us with there, and just a lot of folks, City Council and Mayor Lay, that have contributed there. And we're grateful and appreciative of all the support that we get from the Lawrence County School Board and Mr. Atkins, but also from the city of Lawrenceburg, and just the cooperation. And it's a win-win. I mean, those facilities are used in the summer and when we're not in school, and that's been just a tremendous partnership, and we're really grateful for that.
That's it is a good partnership there, where Summertown, Loretta may not have the resources from the city as Lawrenceburg does. So it's hats off to the city of Lawrenceburg on that partnership.
I'll tell you this, just from the business that you and I are in, newcomers to our community, our schools and the condition of our schools are a reflection on our whole community. They really, really are.
Yeah, I know it's a push right now. I think I've talked to Mr. Joyner about it. It's a push right now for beautification, and we realize that economic development. One of the things that happens is maybe a CEO will fly in to Lawrence County, and he'll have his wife with him. Okay, and a lot of times the spouse is the one that gives thumbs up if we're going to live in that community or not, and invest those dollars, those investment dollars. So school beautification and the quality of school system really matters to economic growth.
Absolutely.
Not only does it matter to that, but I think it matters to the attitude of those kids and students, and it's an influence on them. If we don't take care of our buildings, or we don't care about how we look, then the kids are not going to care.
Exactly right.
True.
Yeah.
And we want to encourage them to take care of that. It is their school. I mean, it is their school. And to your point, when you've got prospective businesses wanting to come to Lawrence County, those young families that are going to be working for them, those are one of the things they're going to look at. And right now, folks have a lot of options.
They do.
I mean, they do have a lot of options. And so we have to do things that will make us stand out and stand above, so that people will want to come here.
A couple areas we haven't covered is we covered sports in that you were a coach, but the overall sports activities at Lawrence County High School, there's a lot of options for kids.
Absolutely. I mean, we offer a lot of sports. Mr. Calvert, one of our assistant principals, our athletic director, does a great job of overseeing our athletics. We have a lot of kids involved in sports every day. We have a lot of extracurricular activities. We have clubs. We have band. We have theater. We have Skills USA chapters in our CTE. Again, service clubs like Key and Interact and others that give our students a lot of opportunities to be involved. We want them to be involved in as much as they can, because the more they're involved with other students and the more they're involved with those adults that we mentioned earlier, that even after hours and things of that nature that can keep them in positive activities, that's going to be a great thing. And
I ask you about the theater. Your theater. That was somewhat of a big deal when I was in high school, but I've been a little bit disconnected because we don't have one going. So
Yes.
So what's happening with the theater there with the high school?
Well, Miss Tabitha Stedman is our theater drama sponsor at Lawrence County High School. She's also our current teacher of the year.
Congratulations,
from last
sir.
year. She does a great job.
That's
and
right.
She coordinates. We try to have a fall production that'll be coming up in November, and then we'll have one in the spring. But one of the things that impresses me about her, she's also involved in the Lawrenceburg Community Theater.
Yes.
And I don't know that we really realize what we have there.
We don't.
I mean, I try to go to every one of those productions because we have a lot of kids involved in that. So they get to hang around adults that are going to be, again, positive role models for them, but it involves them in something that they already have an interest in. And with Ms. Stedman being involved in that, she has encouraged students to do that outside of their school time, and that just puts extra, work on them. But I learned a long time ago that when you needed something done, you didn't necessarily go to somebody that had plenty of time on their hands. Usually, there was a reason why they had plenty of time on their hands.
Sure.
So I see kids that are loaded down and busy, but those are the ones that get things done.
That's right.
And so, that's one of the things you want to foster. You don't want them to get overloaded, but at the same time, I'm chasing a rabbit there. But anyway, but our theater they do a great job. It may be musical, it may be drama, it may be one-act plays, it may be a larger production, but
That's good.
They really, really do a great job.
That's good. Well, what is the future of education, Bill? You mentioned it, and Mr. Joyner, both of you, involved in the school board, the school system, principal of the Lawrence County High School. Things have changed. The classroom, is it more Wi-Fi oriented? Is it Chromebooks? Is it computer? Is it Blackboard? What are we looking at?
Well, I tell you, technology is a game changer. I mean, right now, I think you told me. I mean, we're going out on several different
That's right.
mediums, and we live in a day and age where technology is a great tool, but it's one that's got to be used properly. It is in our classroom, and all of our kids have Chromebooks. We have restrictions on those, set security measures to where we try our best to keep them from accessing sites that they shouldn't be, but just accessing sites that they need. Their textbooks are on there. Their teachers, it enables teachers to share assignments. It enables teachers to share information, even when a student's not there. I mean, we will have students absent today, but they have the ability to log on.
Sure.
And to be there. And, a lot of that got started with COVID 4 or 5 years ago, and we saw that there were some good things from that. But at the same time, you can't replace the teacher in the classroom. I mean, the technology needs to be, in my opinion, a tool, just another tool that the teacher uses. Again, and we've talked a lot about it, but the most important thing in that classroom is the teacher that's in front of those students. But, I mean, we still have some teachers that use dry erase boards, but for the most part, they all have box light devices that are just basically huge televisions, but they can write on them, they can pull up stuff, they can show videos, and they do use a lot of little short videos just to reinforce a point or something like that. But all that technology is good, but what I look at as part of our job as educators is to use that in the proper, because when they go to college, they're going to be using it and probably more dependent on it than they are now. So they need to know how to do that. If they go into the business world, I mean, they're going to have to communicate using technology. we try to stress to them, check your email. We're sending out information to you. Check your email, because that's what we do. I mean,
there's no such thing as a student that doesn't have computer skills now.
no.
And see, when I was going to school, there was a few of us that took typing class, but not very many.
What about verbal skills? We're talking about computer class.
Yes.
And what about verbal?
Yeah.
Can you
Well,
speak to that?
that's one of the challenges of all the technology is that most of our kids have a phone, and I'm thankful the board this year passed a new cell phone policy that is more restrictive, and we have seen kids talking to each other more as a result of that. And basically, the policy is that you can have your cell phone; it can be used. It's just not to be out and used during the instructional time, and that has been a good thing for our students. Part of that is learning to use technology responsibly, and they have gotten to where they text so much that the verbal skills are lacking. They don't really know how to talk with folks like we're used to doing. And so we have to put those things away.
Yeah.
And that's what's been good about that, is just put those things aside. And I can't stand to go into a restaurant and see a family of four sitting there and all four of them on their phone, and it's like, put that thing down and talk to each other.
Well, I love the term you used earlier, pivot. And we learn how to pivot as teachers and educators to be able to get those lessons across.
Wow.
It's fabulous.
We're winding down on time, but I feel like we just scratched the surface.
We have. I want to just briefly. I didn't play in the band, really, but I love hanging out with band kids because they were smart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was my study time. 5 minutes before class, I would be sitting with band kids and tell me what I need to know for the test. Can you speak to our band?
Listen,
I'm so proud of those guys right now.
They do a tremendous job. Mr. Darrell Boston is our band director, and Miss Victoria Wilson, who's a new teacher at Lawrence County High School this year, she is helping him. But our band does a tremendous job. They work very, very hard. If you go by Lawrence County High School, after school, they're out there in the front practicing. They're practicing for their football show, halftime show, but they're also preparing for competitions that they go to, and they go to several, and they represent us very well. There'll be a winter guard and some guard activities, in the spring. They do a tremendous job. But I can't say enough about Mr. Boston and just the way that the band has just improved the school spirit and just the overall atmosphere of our school. It does give students another opportunity. We mentioned the athletics and the clubs and the drama, but this is just another opportunity for those that are musically inclined to be able to improve their talents and showcase their talents.
Volleyball last night.
Yeah, volleyball's
Wow.
they're district champions. They won the district last week, and they'll be playing in the region today. So we want to wish them well as they represent us there in the region tournament.
A lot of activities.
It is a lot.
You got a plate full.
There's a lot that goes on every day at Lawrence County High School. And as I mentioned earlier, there's when you take the staff and the students, we've got over 1,200 people there every day. So there is a lot going on, but it's a lot of good things, and the activities are good, and it is a lot. But like I said, we've got a lot of good folks there. I mentioned the admin team, but also the teachers and the coaches that coordinate all those things. And we have a lot of volunteers that help us from the community, and that's a positive as well.
We got to mention one other area, and that's your kitchen staff.
Amen.
Absolutely.
We got to mention those folks.
Can you imagine feeding that many kids
That's
every
right.
day?
They got a big responsibility.
That is a chore, and they do a great job. Our custodial staff in keeping the building clean, our maintenance and keeping things running. It takes everyone. It does. It takes everyone to make that operation work day in and day out. And our cafeteria staff, Ms. Kim Moore and her staff, they do a great job. 2 meals a day. Breakfast and lunch every day, which is free to our students, and which is another tremendous benefit for them that they take advantage of. But our cafeteria staff does a great job now. I used to tell Miss Kobeck, the longer I'd stay there, she just keep piling it on. And I'd say, Miss Kobeck, I'm not working in the field today. I don't need that much to eat.
right.
I usually took it anyway.
My dad, Coach Adams, used to say, if you want to know what's going on at a school, ask the janitor or the cooks.
That's
He
right.
said they'll tell you.
Absolutely, that's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being in, Bill. First Class Charter and Rent Right hosting this hour, and
Yeah.
of course our principal of Lawrence County High School, Mr. Joyner. And I'm so thrilled to find out and put together that Mrs. Joyner is your mom. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I try to drop that anytime I can. That usually helps me.
I would.
It does.
It does help.
But thank y'all for having me today. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
everything that you all in our community does for Lawrence County High School.
Thank
We'll
you.
join the programming already in progress. We'll see you next time, guys.
When it first revealed plans to downsize. Parent company Walgreens Boots Alliance lost $3 billion